Okay, so you've probably seen this guy on your feed. His name is Steve, but he's way better known as the Selfie guy. And yeah, at first glance, you might think you've got him all figured out. But let me tell you, there is a fascinating and completely unexpected story just under the surface.
And hey, it's an easy conclusion to jump to, right? A good-looking guy, a selfie, we all know the formula. But that first impression? Well, that's exactly what we're here to dig into.
Because if you actually stop scrolling and watch for a minute, you start to see it. There's a real method here, there's a history, and a very, very specific worldview that's driving every single thing he does. So let's officially meet him. The nickname itself actually came from his friends, and you can see why it stuck. But what does that really mean when we're talking about his online presence? Well, his feed is this wild, eclectic mix. One minute he's just sharing his totally unfiltered take on the world while walking his dog Dolly. He calls it the Poppy Diaries. The next minute he's doing this super self-aware lip sync that's somehow both funny and clever. And yeah, living up to the name, there are definitely plenty of selfies.
Now, to really get why his content feels different, you have to look at where he's come from. His entire career has basically been training for creating these short videos. This journey right here, it explains so much. He started out in theater, which gave him that core foundation in performance. Then came modeling and professional photography. So he mastered angles, lighting, and just the whole visual language from both sides of the camera. And now he's an animator. You can literally see how every single one of these stages feeds directly into what he's doing online.
And that's exactly why his videos feel so polished. You're not just watching some random guy on his phone. You're seeing a true mini performance. His theater background gives him that perfect timing, that intentional acting, and that kind of layered, self-aware humor. This quote from our source material just nails it. The visuals, the selfies, that's the entry point. But what he's really doing is inviting you into a much deeper conversation. So, what is that conversation even about?
Well, it really all comes down to one thing. At his core, Steve has this classic, unapologetic Gen X attitude. And that philosophy? That's the engine behind every single unfiltered, direct piece of content he puts out there.
So what does that actually mean? Well, it's a worldview that's, let's just say, a little allergic to today's obsession with safe spaces and trigger warnings. Instead of avoiding difficult or awkward topics, the whole Gen X approach is to confront them, adapt, and, most importantly, find the humor in all of it.
And this, right here, puts him in such stark contrast with so much of today's online culture. You know, where the focus is so often on creating safe spaces and avoiding any kind of discomfort. The Gen X mindset he has is all about building resilience by laughing through the tough stuff, not running away from it. Just take his lip sync videos, for example. He knows they can be inherently cringy. But instead of trying to hide that fact, he just leans right into the awkwardness. He doubles down on it. And in doing so, he turns something that could be kind of corny into a performance that's both compelling and genuinely funny.
Okay, so beyond his artistic background and his generational attitude, there's one more layer to his identity that he approaches with that exact same unfiltered honesty. So while he makes absolutely no secret of being gay, he consciously chooses not to make it the central pillar of his online brand. He's not on TikTok to be a stereotype or to find dates. He just wants to be seen as a person first. You know, the label is a part of who he is, but it's not the entirety of who he is.
And that whole human-first approach makes a ton of sense when you see his rich background. He's this incredible blend of cultures. English, which really shapes his sharp humor, Italian, with its strong family traditions, a little bit of Dutch in there, and it's all rooted in his Brazilian heritage. This multicultural mix is what informs his unique perspective on, well, everything.
You know, funny enough, one of his biggest challenges was simply speaking on camera. Can you believe it? Even after living in the UK for over 2 decades, hearing his own Brazilian accent made him really uncomfortable. But he just applied that same Gen X resilience, pushed right through the awkwardness, and now he speaks directly to his audience in a way that feels completely authentically him.
So when you put all the pieces together, the Selfie guy is this really unique combination. He's part performer, using all those theater and photography skills. He's part selfie taker, totally embracing the visual medium. But most importantly, he's delivering all of it with this raw honesty. It's the whole package, and it's all unapologetically him. And all of this leaves us with a final thought to chew on. In an online world that so often asks us to categorize ourselves and fit neatly into these little boxes, Steve's approach really makes you wonder, what does it truly mean to be authentic online today? Is it about centering a single label, or is it about showing up as the messy, multifaceted, and complete human being you actually are?